नो मित्रस्यं वरुणः नो भवत्वर्यमा न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
Should be Maria, Maria. Maria.
So our today's topic for study is homeopathic materia medica, and in this materia medica of homeopathy we will make an introduction into the study of the most important topmost remedy of materia medica, that is sulfur.
It's the most important.
Topmost remedy
In America.
in materia medica, not America. Materia medica. Materia medica.
I understood in America.
I know.
Maybe
Yeah.
also.
Huh?
Maybe also in America.
Maybe. In the homeopathic materia medica, sulfur is considered to be one of the topmost remedy, because the reason is that sulfur forms, we have many minerals in our constitution. Like we have phosphorus, we have calcium, we have carbon, zinc, magnesium, salt. I mean, there are many, silicea, there are many of the minerals. But when an estimation is made of each mineral, how much the quantum will be of the mineral in the human body, the maximum quantum is of sulfur. That is why any distortion that happens, and that is what we learn from homeopathic study, any distortion that happens in any of the minerals of the constitution, that corresponding distortion, it gets manifested into the form of a chronic disease. And so, since sulfur occupies the maximum quantity in the constitution, so the distortions caused by sulfur, they are very extensive and deep in the constitution. That was what found and proved also by Dr. Hahnemann through his wonderful research and application. And also sulfur was found through the proving that it can go very deep into the consciousness of the being. Because, you know, in the homeopathic remedies, there are some remedies which can act on the very deeper layers of consciousness where the disease can originate. Disease is deep rooted, which Hahnemann calls the real chronic diseases. Because in a normal medical field, there is no real scientific explanation to explain what a chronic disease is. Because you know, generally in diseases there are acute diseases and chronic diseases. It's a classification. But in the normal understanding, in normal medical understanding, acute disease and chronic disease. A chronic disease is normally understood as some disease which continues for a long time due to complications like this, but not more than that, what you find in the normal medical explanation. But it is only in homeopathic science, it is very clearly explained that a real chronic disease is the miasm. The miasm, which is the factor that conditions the whole consciousness of the person in the especially the whole mental plane and vital planes. So this miasm is a negative force. It is a distorted form of the life force, which is a negative force, and it is very deep rooted force.
How do you spell this miasm? I never heard of it.
Yeah.
Miasma.
Huh?
Miasma.
Miasm. Miasm. I never heard of it.
And Hahnemann has proved that the present humanity almost majority of the human race is inflicted by this miasm. And there are 3 miasms which Hahnemann has identified. The first one is psora. Second one psychosis. Third one syphilis. And afterwards the fourth one was also identified. tuberculosis. And the Sora is the prime cause of all the sickness of the human race. That is what Hahnemann has proved confirmedly. He called it as the itch disease.
The what?
Itch,
Oh, yes.
but not on the
But
body.
not on the physical plane.
The itch on the physical
Oh,
plane
yes,
is
of
only
course.
a manifestation of the later stage, but it is an itching on the mental, on the mind.
Itching
Itching
on the mind.
on the mind. That is
But physical too.
physical
you-
too.
Physical
But it is
Also physical.
psoriasis, no?
Yeah, yeah, also physical.
Everything.
Yeah.
But
It
everything.
starts on the mind.
Yeah.
It starts on the mind.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It starts itching your mind.
Yeah.
If there is itching on the body, you can scratch for some
Yeah,
time and
yeah.
then it will be ameliorated. But if it
It
is itching
works.
on the mind, then you cannot scratch.
Mm.
It keeps your mind continuously itching. Therefore, your life activity is made miserable by this miasm. It will not allow you to be tranquil and peaceful,
No.
because when your mind is continuously disturbed, then you cannot be peaceful. So that is why Hahnemann called it Sora as the prime cause. He explained it as a prime cause for all the sickness of human race today.
So we have not 50,000 remedies necessary.
No.
And so, Sora, because, and also he explained that why this has spread so much in the human race. He explained very well that it is the result of suppression. It is the result of long period of suppression
Of what?
of
Generations.
two generations.
Of
Yeah, yeah.
what?
Minimum.
Suppression of, our, by nature, our constitution has a tendency to eliminate unrequired things
Mhm.
from within outside, to drive it outside. That is according to the law of nature. So outermost layer is skin. So whenever there is such formations, such obstructions in the inner consciousness, that is all transferred, brought down into the physical plane, and it is thrown out on the surface. But then for many centuries and for many generations, the human race has been suppressing all these things because of ignorance, because they are caring for the only outward appearance, and therefore they could not know the origin of all this, and therefore whatever appears on the skin is suppressed. When all this is suppressed and it is again sent back into the constitution, and then from the physical plane again the whole thing is transferred up to the mental plane, and it has no outlet now. So now on the mind it gets established once for all in the form of such a disease, and then it will not leave the person anymore, and it continues to be inherited generations, and it can be more and more stronger in the subsequent generations, and it will go on until 7 generations, and if it is not controlled or not taken care of, then there will be no generation after 7 generations. That is the law, cosmic law.
But we have that tendency because the decrease in sperm by the young men
Yes,
is enormous now.
yes. So that is the reason that how this dangerous disease has spread, and this forms the basis, and on this basis, because when once Sora is there, it distorts the thinking and the action of the person. He drives the person into wrong thinking and wrong action. And because of this, when he gets into wrong action, he gets into further implications. And the result is another diseases coming into existence. And especially when with the aspect of sex there is misbehavior. Because of this sora, because it makes always person to misbehave. Dishonor the law of nature and to misbehave. And because of this, once again, the nature wants to save the person from such misbehavior. So the nature creates a check, it wants to create a check for this and produces eruption and suffering in the sexual organs in the form of gonorrhea and syphilis and physical plane. And then once again the ignorant human being does not understand what is the purpose that nature has created this. If this gonorrhea or syphilis is just left as it is without any manipulation, it stays for the whole life, but it stays on the physical plane. But it will not allow this human fellow to continue this illegal type of activity, impure activity. It obstructs. So, human fellow has found out how to overcome this obstruction to continue his activity, wrong activity. So, once again there is a suppression of psychosis and the gonorrhea and syphilis. When the gonorrhea is suppressed from the physical plane by use of
Mercury.
the very strong gonorrhea is suppressed by using the chemical and
Mercury.
especially like penicillin, high power penicillins and antibiotics,
Mercury
Yeah,
mainly, and then those
and then gonorrhea is made to disappear from the physical plane, and then the person feels that he is cured, but he is not cured. And a person feels that he is cured and also he can continue his wrong activity. Now he has something to erase the result. So it is a distortion. And when it is suppressed from the surface again, it is driven into the mental plane, and then it is established as this miasm psychosis. And the same thing with the syphilis. The syphilis also is another type of eruption on the sexual organs to prevent him. But the same thing when he does, it is made to disappear in the physical body and is established on the mental plane as the miasm syphilis. And when once it is established as a miasm on the mental plane, then it gains strength. It will never leave. Heinemann says that it leaves the person only at the grave. And it will be inherited from generation to generation, which is unavoidable. And so in the subsequent generations, it depends upon how the person deals with this. Suppose if in one generation he keeps everything ideal by following all natural and ideal everything, then it will be dormant, but it is not eliminated. It keeps dormant and it will be inherited to next generation. So whenever in one generation they don't take much care, then it becomes activated, and then it becomes the factor which makes the person susceptible to all sorts of distortions, all sorts of diseases. So why the human beings are made susceptible to so many types of infections and diseases, this is not properly explained by the modern medical science, because they have no idea, no concept of these miasms. They only know that we are susceptible. But what is the reason for susceptibility they cannot explain. Because unless they accept the miasms and they cannot really explain you why a person is susceptible.
So in humanity today, these miasms can no longer be eliminated because
No,
they are on the mental plane. And
Yes, they cannot be eliminated unless you make an approach. There are two types of approaches to eliminate the miasms. One is a very strong spiritual, really in real sense,
Practice.
a spiritual, under the guidance of real spiritual master, by a total surrender, and that is also continuously the person is totally surrendered to selfless service with spiritual activity, and then it is possible. But so that is not so many people
No,
like
no,
that.
very few.
And the other thing is, Hahnemann has proved that through homeopathic type of treatment, it is possible.
Oh,
Because homeopathic medicine is not a medicine on the material plane, it is a medicine on the higher planes. So through homeopathic treatment it is possible, provided the patient cooperates.
Yeah, this is the point.
Yeah.
and through Ayurveda, would it be possible?
Through Ayurveda has given how you can prevent yourself from getting into it.
Ah,
Mm.
yes, but for the people
But for the people who are already there, to eliminate the miasms,
There are some, but it is
there are
very,
some of the
very
methods
costly.
like Rasayana, real,
very costly and very
but now
time taking.
it is not so easy.
You can make it dormant, but not eliminate.
To eliminate is very difficult. To eliminate once again, in Ayurveda also it is possible, but the methods explained in Ayurveda today, nowadays, for many people they are not easily applicable.
Like
This,
this, Samarasayana
yeah, Samarasayana.
or something.
If you combine homeopathy and Ayurveda, then
Yes, yes, but it is necessary because homeopathy, Hahnemann has proved that by dynamizing the substances, and Hahnemann has identified certain substances, when they are dynamized, they can hunt out these miasms.
Oh.
Yes, that is what Hahnemann has proved. That is not still for the modern
But the
science.
patient has also to change his lifestyle.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
yes.
that is the limitation of homeopathy.
Yeah.
Homeopathy can get rid of these miasms, but it is our responsibility
Yeah.
not to fall back again into these miasms
Yes.
by wrong action.
Yes, otherwise there's no meaning. Huh?
Yes.
This is just
Have
to
to
put
open
it
your-
away and then
Yes.
start again.
Yeah.
You have to, this is what the Christ says, if you are not reborn,
Yes.
it's Renaissance,
Yes.
then you will not enter into the kingdom of God.
Yes.
This is the higher consciousness.
Yeah.
So you have to mobilize your will,
Yeah.
because the doctor cannot make you to give your health back. The health
No.
back is by yourself.
Yes.
The doctor only helps you.
Yes.
If a patient thinks that the doctor can give him health back, then he is already blocked in his life.
Yeah.
But if the will is blocked by a patient, then the doctor can help
Only
unblocking
yeah, yeah.
the will and then open something.
Yes, but the will to be back to normal good health is from the patient.
Oh yes, of course.
Yes.
Readiness to give and receive. That is what Madam Gladsky said. That should be there.
To be healed, because you know, when once you know that you are gripped in affliction, you are not in good health. So because this sorrow is such tremendous force that it will not allow you so easily to accept to be healed.
Yeah.
That is the evil.
Because you don't fix it anymore.
Huh?
You don't fix it if you have so hard.
Yes.
You
don't
don't
have-
have a problem.
Yeah,
the
because-
others have.
Because for example,
Oh,
when a
no.
person
No, you feel it.
when a person is mentally, through his behavior, when a person is mentally, for example, a wicked person, But for himself, he is convinced that he is right. That is Sora.
And he goes into habits, and the habits are making him sleepy.
Yes, because for him, that is what you see in all the political fields and every fields. He feels that he is right, but the others will experience. Others experience what he says, how he behaves is not right according. But he feels, he is convinced, and he is convinced by his Sora that he is right.
Like the blind king from yesterday.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Highest degree of sorrow.
He was highly sorry.
Highest sorry. Yeah. So that is why the humanity, in spite of all the so-called advancement of medical science, why still humanity is
You're becoming more and more sick.
more and more sick.
Because through all these chemicals,
Yeah.
the real healing process is blocked more and more, and then they die.
Because the Sora gets more strength.
Yeah.
Because most of the system of medicine today is suppression and palliation.
Yes, and they do not. They
And
cannot discriminate
continue wrong
between
action.
symptom and disease. The doctors
So-
have no discrimination. What
Yeah.
is symptom and what is disease?
No.
So this
They have no discrimination and they have no effort to understand. There is no
You see,
effort.
the first challenge for a patient is, if he is treated with chemical
Yeah.
until now, to have the will to stop this
Yes.
and enter into the other treatment.
Yes.
If you cannot do this step,
Yeah.
But
And
before this, there's the information from the healer.
yes, this is,
But there
but
is
the
something
step
else.
has to be done by the patient.
yeah.
Yes. But
And this is
most
fear. Another thing
They have
is
fear.
fear.
They have fear.
why most of the people cannot stop.
No, they fear.
They cannot make a decision to stop the chemical is because of fear. Just because, for
And
example, I tell you,
impatience, I observe.
Impatience.
Impatience also.
yes,
Because they think, they know homeopathic treatment will take some time.
yes,
But if there are not immediately a release or
Yeah.
something like this, then they fall back and do this once.
yes, that is what is happening.
So this
Yeah.
happens.
With homeopathy, you become a real patient.
So I saw this in our circles here in Switzerland, in certain people.
Everywhere,
So they fall back.
they fall back because they are habituated to painkillers.
Yes.
So also to accept pain. This is also a point. This is not so easy. So,
And also, you see how many young girls,
yeah.
they are immediately addicted to the pill, contraceptive pill.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Immediately.
13, 14.
Very.
Because
How many cases we come across
But
now?
it is funny, only for acne they are prescribing
Even for
hormones.
acne.
yeah.
You
Yes,
see, I have seen, we have
yes.
seen many cases.
That's what they did to me.
For
when I was
in
with
Germany,
the
we have seen a girl, 12 years, just
teacher.
she went
For acne.
just for acne.
Yes.
They prescribed the
Or
pill.
if the period are not regular, then they
The
give a
chemical
pill.
marketing.
In this aspect, India is still better.
What is
Yeah,
still
India
better?
is still
In India, it is condition is still better.
Even in the modern families?
Yes, also not so much like this. Here it is horrible.
Too much.
Yes, here it is
Oh
automatic.
my God.
So when you tell the woman that you have to stop the pill, there is a shock.
If I get pain,
If I
if
get
I get
pain,
more bleeding, then I
and also the mothers,
The mothers are
The
also
mothers-
uninformed.
mothers are,
they cannot really
That
But
help
it's a matter of understanding.
Information is so
They don't
important.
because the
understand why.
mothers.
if they understand also, it is not easy to accept.
Because they don't really understand.
yeah, mostly ignorance.
Because
Fear.
the previous
They
generation
don't
was also not
understand what is
educated.
the background
So how
of
can they give
harm.
the new generation?
And we in our practice we try to convince them and say, what is wrong in taking the pill? And
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah,
can
yeah.
But for contraception, it is necessary. Then we say it is always better to.
And from the
Select
very
another.
time of monarchy, they want to contraception. What is this? From the very beginning.
Difficult for you to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is the education, because the misunderstanding of sexual life. This
Yeah.
is the point.
Yes.
Because today this is seen primary